He's Brett Favre. How are you, Brett? How you been, man?
I'm good, Rich. I thought you were going to talk about me and my legs.
Well, I'm more than happy to do that. You could extend a play with your legs, Brett. You could do that.
It's a distant memory, but I think I did.
Well, you know what? It's interesting. I thought of you this weekend too, Brett, because when I saw Mariota catch his own pass for his first career touchdown in the playoffs, that was your first ever pass attempt in the league, right? Correct? You caught it.
Yeah. I didn't catch a touchdown. I thought I was going to catch a touchdown. But I ended up losing like 7 yards. Second half came in against Tampa Bay, put me in. They were killing us. I threw it, guy tipped it, I caught it, and needless to say, Homer was not happy when I got to the sideline.
Hey, but at least it didn't go for an interception, I guess.
That's right.
All right.
That's right.
You know, so did you watch any of the national championship game last night? Were you able to catch some of it?
Yeah,
Brett?
I did. What a great game. I didn't top the Georgia-Oklahoma game last week, but it was a close second. What a great game.
What'd you think of that kid? What'd you think of that kid, too?
I thought he played outstanding. He gave him a spark. I thought Jalen Hurts, first of all, handled himself about as classy as you can handle yourself. But that kid did nothing but help himself. I mean, he was tremendous. And I tip my hat to Nick Saban and my old coach, who I think the world of, Brian Daboll, I thought did a heck of a job calling plays, and I mean he did a fantastic job putting him in good position to succeed. And yeah, I mean it was a great move, and they may have won the game anyway. Who knows? But
right.
He gave them a spark that they needed at that time.
Brett Favre joining me here on the Rich Eisen Show. I want to hit you on a couple other items before we talk about your documentary. Speaking of old coaches going back, what do you think of Gruden's contract going back to coach for the Raiders, Brett?
Well, I mean, I don't know what else you can say, but wow, what a contract. And I was asked the question numerous times by my friends and family: is he worth it? And I said, who is worth it? What player, what coach is worth what they get paid? But it's not, it's not Jon's fault. It's not a player's fault. You have a body of work, and people either believe in it or they don't. And Jon he's an outstanding coach. There's no doubt. His commitment to the game is as good, if not better, than anyone's. And so, the only thing, and he knows this, the expectation level is at times it seems almost unreachable for a player or a coach. And, there much will be expected of Jon, and he knows that. But it'll be interesting. I'm curious to see how he does, and I think he'll do a great job there.
And Brady broke a lot of your records for 40-year-old quarterbacks this past year, Brett Favre. What did you think of Brady's performance this year, and do you think he's going to win it all when it's all said and done this year?
Yeah, I think so. I was not surprised by anything now or in the future, anything that Tom does. I think he's I never thought I'd say someone was better than Joe Montana, but that Joe Montana has always been the best quarterback that I've ever seen, and Tom has surpassed that. And not taking anything away from Joe, Tom just gets better, regardless of who's in there playing with him. Which is hard to find chemistry when you plug in guys in there, but he and Belichick have managed to do it at the highest level, as consistent as anyone has ever done it. And I don't see any reason why Tom will diminish anytime soon. And I don't foresee them being beat. I think that they have the team to win it all this year, and I wouldn't bet against them again next year.
Brett Favre, Pro Football Hall of Famer, and part of the new documentary Shocked, the Hidden Factor in Sports Concussion Crisis, here on the Rich Eisen Show. And now Brady's got some help from James Harrison, whose movement from the Steelers to the Patriots also made me think of you, Brett, because the only person I could think of that could similarly go from one spot to another and then have a fan base that's been rooting for him forever wonder what was given than you going from Green Bay to Minnesota. Yeah. Is there any sort of advice you'd give Steelers fans and Harrison about the future based on your career path, Brett?
Well, I think, if we didn't know it, we certainly should know it and realize it by now that anything can and will happen. And I remember thinking when Joe Montana was traded to the Chiefs, I thought the world was coming to an end. I could not believe what I was seeing, and I just couldn't believe it. And little did I know that same thing would happen to me, later on. And so, strange things happen. And, we don't know exactly what took place between James Harrison and the Steelers, if anything. Maybe it was a mutual effort. There's talk here and there of this and that, but you really don't know. But what you do know is New England felt strongly enough to sign him right away, and what first week it pays off. He gets 2 sacks.
Yep.
And sometimes a change of scenery is not only good for the player, but it's good for the team that lets you go, but also for the team that picks you up. And and then there are times where it's not. It has an adverse effect. But I would say right now, if the benefit has gone to the Patriots, the spark, if they needed one, it has been added by signing Harrison. So, but I mean, you don't rule the Steelers out by any stretch of the imagination. They're still a very good football team, and it'd be curious to see what happens and how James plays and how they handle that whole situation if they play against each other here in the next couple of weeks.
That certainly would be something. So let's talk about this documentary. Do you have on a daily basis, semi-daily, or not at all, concussion effects from your playing career, Brett?
As it is with diagnosing concussions, I mean, we see a guy get knocked out cold. We all can diagnose that as a concussion, but it's what you don't see. I think that's what's scary. I couldn't even tell you how many times my ears were ringing. I saw stars, a little fogginess. That was pretty much every time I got hit or my head hit the turf. And I'm sure most players could say that. And what we're finding out is, that's as bad, if not worse, than the knockout blow. And so I think symptoms are kind of iffy as well. I mean, forgetting things. I will say this: I don't have headaches every day. I don't have dizziness. Forgetfulness, yes. Am I going to write that off as 48 years old, or too many blows to the head? I think is a combination of a lot of things. I think as we get older, where's my car keys? And they're in your hand. Where's my glasses? They're on top of your head. I think that's a common, as you get older, type of thing that we all face. But, I have to admit, for playing 20 years, I really can't complain. I don't know what normal feels like, but I can't complain.
So what do you want people to take away from this documentary? Again, that's going to be on the new multi-platform sports network Stadium, watchstadium.com on Thursday at 6:30 p.m. Eastern.
Well, I think if people will watch it, I think they're going to be, for lack of a better term, shocked Not anything that I would say or do, but there are other parts to this documentary. It's not very long. That sheds, a more fearful outlook at concussions, and as if it hasn't been bad enough already. But this company, Brock, who I think the world of, has done an unbelievable job of studying, testing, building all this science technology behind the shock pad that they have put under artificial surfaces that has reduced concussions by a considerable percentage. And 1 in 5 concussions are when your head hits the turf. And I know I can speak volumes on that. And so no one has really looked at the playing surface as a piece of equipment that you wear, or like a piece of equipment, and that's the way it should be looked at, rather than, oh, the grass looks great, look at the logo, it's beautiful, it's a fast surface. I think you need to look at it as this is equipment just like a helmet. And so when you watch this documentary, it's not about selling a product as much as it is there is something better and safer out there that can be provided, mainly for our youth. And I got 3 grandsons, and if I'm not going to encourage them to play football, I'm not going to discourage them, but I would much rather be a caddy for them in golf than watch them play football, because, and that's crazy. I mean, people say, I can't believe he would say that. But, head injuries are going to continue. The quality of player is only going to go up. And that means concussions are not going to go down. And so it's a scary issue.
Brett, I really appreciate the time, man. Also appreciate, I know you connected with Baker Mayfield, right? Because he came on this show and he said, I want to chat with Brett. You guys connected, right?
Yeah, we connected. Well, what an exciting player to watch, and did an outstanding job. Definitely worthy of the Heisman Trophy. Now it's time for him to move on to something bigger and better. I think he'll do a fine job in the NFL.
All right, Brett. Yeah, he was all fired up to get the chance to talk to you, and I always appreciate when you call in. Best to Deanna. Happy New Year to you and yours and all the kids and grandkids. We'll chat soon, hopefully.
Okay, Rich. Always great talking with you.
Likewise. You got it. That's Brett Favre, Pro Football Hall of Famer. Would rather his grandsons be caddies for golf.
The Rich Eisen Show, weekdays at noon Eastern on Audience.